Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're doing a really specific deep dive into the public persona of someone known as Tomcat.
Yeah, a very unique figure.
Absolutely. We're looking at his self-expression, his identity, and what he calls his boundaries, or maybe more accurately, how he just gets rid of them.
Right, the deliberate breaking of them.
Exactly. And we're pulling this from two incredibly candid sources. We have excerpts from his book, Tomcat, Breaking Walls and Fetish Boundaries, and also a transcript from his YouTube channel, Tomcat's World.
Which is quite a trip in itself.
It really is.
Right.
So our goal here isn't to judge or, endorse anything. We're just trying to be your guide through this material.
hmm
We want to pull out the core philosophy that he's working from, the thing that supports his whole public identity, and then we'll connect that philosophy to startlingly specific details he shares.
And you really do get a complete picture. What's so striking right when you start reading is just the sheer force of it all.
Self-disclosure.
Yeah, the self-disclosure. I mean, Tomcat gives you zero time to get comfortable. He comes right out challenging social norms from like the very first paragraph of his book,
He literally says his goal is to break the walls down.
and that he gives zero fucks. It's an immediate, almost aggressive declaration of independence.
That really does set the tone for everything else. But the central idea, the real hook for this whole deep dive, is his statement that, and I'm quoting here, fetish and how we feel make us who we are.
And that's the key right there.
It's such a radical statement, isn't it? It elevates desire from, just a preference to a core part of your actual self.
It completely reframes the conversation. I mean, if you analyze that core idea, what he's saying is that these feelings, these deep-seated fixations, they aren't just on the side.
They're not a hobby.
No, not at all. They're the actual building blocks of your identity. It's a challenge to the idea that identity is, I don't know, your job, your family, your culture. For him, it's this internal emotional truth.
So how does that change things practically? I mean, most people, if they have an unusual interest, they sort of filter it, right? They keep it separate from their public life.
That filter is exactly what he calls the walls.
Ah, okay.
By claiming fetish and how we feel make us who we are, he's justifying getting rid of that filter entirely. He's turning what some might see as, private shame into public pride.
His mantra is, we are who we are.
It is, and he couples that with his explicit dismissal of any critics. He says he doesn't give a damn about them. It's an assertion that his personal truth is just.
Yeah.
It's non-negotiable.
I have to wonder, though, that whole I don't give a damn attitude, doesn't that kind of prove that he does care? I mean, if you truly didn't care, would you need to write a book about it?
Well, that's a fascinating point about performance versus, let's say, reality.
Mhm.
The act of breaking walls is, by its very nature, a public act,
Right.
right? So the walls are societal, not just his own. He isn't just accepting himself in private. He is actively demanding public space for that self-acceptance. It's a mission to own and defend a truth that society usually tries to push to the side.
So that's the operating system. Radical, unapologetic self-acceptance tied directly to these passions.
Exactly.
And now we move from the theory in the book to the very concrete example on his channel. He has a video called Why I Like Women's Legs and Feet,
And he delivers it in what he calls a rock and roll way.
which is key, that phrasing.
It is key. It's not just him talking. It gives the whole thing a sense of defiance, of theatricality. It positions his confession, I guess, as an act of rebellion. He's channeling that anti-establishment energy into his personal life.
And he gives us a full origin story.
A very detailed one. He says it all started when he was just 8 years old. And it wasn't gradual. It was like a sudden event.
The trigger, he says, was seeing a hot redhead and a leg so bold.
And he describes the physical reaction, my heart took a lead. That's crucial because it suggests the fixation came before any kind of cultural influence. It was just there.
And what's really poignant is the secrecy around it at first. He describes it as sucking toes and licking soul secrets I keep. That one little line shows the huge gap between this intense inner world of an 8-year-old kid and his quiet outer life.
Oh, absolutely. The fascination was immediate, but the breaking the walls part, that clearly took decades to happen.
The preference was born early, but the courage came later.
Much later. And now, in the video, he gets into these specific aesthetic details. He transforms these common things into objects of, profound beauty. He talks about long legs and feet and sandals so beautiful. It becomes this almost artistic thing.
He really elevates it when he says every step they take is a work of art. He's giving this huge meaning to something most people just ignore.
Hmm.
But the detail that's the most, I don't know, raw, is the phrase, shining dirty souls.
That phrase is a perfect example of that unfiltered disclosure we were talking about. It suggests the beauty he finds isn't just in, like, perfection.
Not at all.
It's a fascination with authenticity, with use. The fact that the souls are dirty but still shining. It suggests beauty is found in the reality of it, imperfections and all.
And this fascination, he insists, is central to his survival. This isn't just a passion. He says, it's all about the beauty. It keeps me alive.
That's it. That's the high-stakes framing.
Life or death.
Life or death, survival or extinction is part of that rock and roll delivery style. It demands that you, the listener, take his personal truth as seriously as possible. He's saying, this is my core, and you have to understand it to understand me.
Okay, so moving from that intensity, we have to look at how he handles the social friction this must create.
Okay.
Because he's sharing this intensely personal, often stigmatized thing, he has to address criticism before it even comes. He calls himself an honest dude in a world so wild.
This is where he tries to control the narrative. It's a defensive move, but he does it through self-definition. He admits the fascination is a little strange.
He puts it out there himself.
He does. But then he immediately counters that label with his own. He insists he's not creepy, just cold, hard truth.
He's drawing a really bright line there. He's saying, I know what you might call me, but here's what I actually am.
And he's positioning authenticity as the highest possible virtue. He defines himself as real at heart. He's trying to preempt the social damage by just defining the strangeness as reality. And therefore, it's acceptable.
It's an attempt to neutralize that word creepy, isn't it?
It is. Because creepy is a judgment you pass on, like hidden behavior. By being so open, so loud, he's trying to transform it. It's no longer hidden. It's radical transparency.
Yeah.
The message is, it might be strange, but because I'm shouting it, it's truth.
And he backs us all up with this total rejection of shame. He uses lines like, can't be ashamed, and don't hide myself, I'm real every day.
He's all in. And he finishes that commitment with a promise that takes us right back to his original mission of breaking walls. He says, this flame won't die, I'll shout it from the rooftop.
That imagery is perfect. It really sums up the defiance. It's not enough for him to just be authentic.
He has to broadcast it.
Right. What's truly fascinating, I think, is how he ties the acknowledgement of his flaws directly into his self-acceptance. That final statement of his, it's a kind of summary of his whole philosophy.
I know I'm a mess, but I love who I am.
Exactly.
That one line just completes the whole circle, doesn't it? He accepts the social label that, yeah, his truth through a normal lens makes him a mess.
But then he robs it of its power?
He does. By adding, but I love who I am, he denies the power of that negative label. It frames the fascination not as something he just puts up with, but as a core part of the identity he fiercely champions. The mess is just the reality of who he is.
So what does this all mean for you, listening to this? I mean, if we recap the core dynamic of his message, it's this powerful fusion. It's a deep-seated personal obsession.
Going back to when he was 8.
Right, back to childhood. And it's combined with this radical, almost performance art presentation of defiance and self-ownership.
Right.
He's not saying this is a kink. He's saying it's a core attribute of his being.
And the source material just provides this incredibly clear example of someone using public platforms, publishing, YouTube, to champion an identity built specifically around these declared fetishes.
He's inviting the public to accept or reject him.
Exactly, but he's also making it clear that his personal truth isn't up for a vote. It's going to exist regardless of the public's verdict. He's erased the line between his inner world and his public persona.
It's a really interesting case study in how modern identity can be built and shared. He's forcing this radical transparency on his audience, which it makes you confront your own comfort level with that much unfiltered sharing.
It really does.
And that leads us to our final thought for you to consider. Tomcat says identity is intrinsically linked to how we feel. So if we accept that premise for a moment and see how openly he expresses those feelings, what is the actual social cost of that kind of transparency? Based on his own words, I know I'm a mess, but I love who I am. Is the mess just the price you pay for authenticity? Or is that fierce self-love the ultimate reward for embracing the mess and shouting it from the rooftop? Something to think about as you reflect on the walls you choose to keep up or maybe tear down in your own life.